And welcome back to Roundtable here on RawSportsCast. My name's Jordan Smith. I've got 3 guests with me today. We're going to be talking some sports and a couple of random topics. We're not really sure what we're going to get into, but I'm sure it'll be interesting and probably get a little heated. But first, we're going to introduce our guest today. Starting from the right-hand side, we've got Scott Harrigan, we've got Chris Schill, and for the first time, we've got Tanner Biggin. Welcome to meet. Welcome to my call, Roundtable. So basically the way this works, we're going to pick somebody. They're going to throw out a topic. We're going to argue about it, and then we're going to move on. So let's start with, let's go Scott first. What do you got for us?
Parents in sports.
Interesting one.
Love it. Yeah.
Oh, parents in sports. Interesting. Okay.
Good or bad? Where do you want to go with
It's
this?
really funny. I literally was just talking about this with my tattoo artist. His little guy's just getting into hockey.
Yeah.
And my tattoo artist is he plays men's league, has for a long time, very big sports guy. And he was really, I actually really enjoyed our conversation because he was like, I don't want to push him because it's my thing,
right,
and I'm enthusiastic about it. So it's a fine line for him being excited, he said. But
where is he going to be when, say, his kid gets into bantam midget?
With him, I honestly think he's got the right mind frame. Like, I think that he actually wants to encourage his child, but not push him to do it because it's his thing. Do you know what I mean? He wants to see the child want to play.
That is why everybody gets into it. And every parent that's listening to this right now is saying, it's not me. I don't push. My issue with parents in sports, good and bad, we'll just start with the bad. What I see is that they either coach their own kid.
Problem.
And when they're doing the lineup or they're putting starting whatever, it's a mom or dad lineup. It's not the lineup to what's best for that team. I see that a ton.
I could see a conflict of interest for sure.
You get where the parents are never happy with the coach's decision and like, why isn't my daughter playing? She just threw a no-hitter yesterday. Why isn't she playing today? Well, you answered your own question. She just played yesterday.
Now, is that because now you're trying to coach your own kid playing, watching them play from the sideline, keeping in mind that these coaches also are volunteer half the time,
100%.
right? Now, how much?
Yeah.
Now it's tough because maybe that parent does know maybe more about it, but then the argument is, well, then why aren't you coaching, right? Because that's the tough part. For some reason, I've had coaches in the past where like they know hockey, but may not to extend it to someone else, like a parent kind of knew, and all the time the parent would be like, I would have done this, but they're the coach, whatever, right?
And that's the other issue is that teams are folding now because they don't have coaches and stuff, and nobody's stepping up,
right?
But what is the, for me, are they doing it for the kid? Is it just their own kid they're doing it for? Is it for the team? At what level are you allowing just the kid to play? In bantam, or say if it's 6, 7, 8 years old, just let him play.
I honestly think that parents probably get into it with good intentions, but then maybe some of their past dreams start to creep in when they start noticing their child is maybe a little more skilled or a little bit.
They're living through their
kid
maybe in some way, right?
I think that's a very small percentage. I do, but I absolutely
it's
do.
There.
But it's there on different levels. So each level that you see, all of a sudden you'll send a kid to hockey camp for $40,000 a year. What's going on? Like, okay, I'm not here to
that's an issue for a completely separate topic. But
exactly, right? So it's like, well, who are we doing this for here?
So is there a way to maybe call out people that don't have kids playing hockey that might be a good coach?
It's not just hockey.
I mean any sport. I'm talking any sport.
Probably baseball is one of the worst where they always want their kid to play. They always think their kid isn't getting enough playing time.
Well, there's multiple reasons. That's what people have to understand, why a coach put somebody in. Maybe it was bad attitude in the locker room and the parent was not privy to that. There are reasons that coaches do things. It's not always based on play.
I think a lot of it is they think their kid is way better than what they are.
For sure.
And
100%. Every parent does.
100. Yeah. Now, here's the thing. When a kid is good, like that Emma that played for softball and won for Canada.
Oh, yes, I saw that.
I'm sure she was really good at 5 years old, 6 years old, 7 years old.
Like a prodigy child kind of thing.
Like way more than the average kid.
Fair enough.
Right? So if you know your kid is that good, you get it from other angles. Jealousy from parents going.
Absolutely. I've seen that a lot.
A ton, right?
Like tons.
Whereas if your kid is average or above average, you want the best for your child. And you want as much playing time as possible.
Well,
but
because
are they going to get better?
I do think that that kids can get better with good coaching and with good mentors. Like, I would hate to write somebody off because, say, maybe they didn't have the skills in the beginning. A good coach and mentor can do that, and dedication by the child to want.
Is that going to come from a parent coaching?
I don't think.
Here's something that I want to jump in. One of the big issues you're talking about is parents coaching.
Yes.
What needs to happen so that a parent isn't the one that's coaching?
I think more people need to volunteer to coach sports that maybe don't have a stake in the game, don't have a child playing.
Just from my own personal experience, when I was younger, a friend and I used to be an umpire-in-chief. I spent a lot of years umpiring baseball at quite a high level, and I decided I wanted to transition into coaching. I didn't have any kids at the time. I didn't have any kids that were old enough to play. So I was just an adult wanting to go and coach baseball because that's what I wanted to do. I ran into some pretty wicked hurdles. Why do you want to coach baseball? You don't have a kid on the team.
Yeah.
Why do you want to coach baseball?
Yeah.
Well, that to me, I've never encountered that, but I think
and
that's
it was weird.
wrong. I think that's completely wrong.
It completely killed me going out to coach at any level, any age group, boys, girls, didn't matter. And because I approached the organization that I was the umpire-in-chief for.
That just seems ludicrous to me.
It is.
Then I approached other organizations, and it was just...
No,
there was way too.
As a bit of a weirdo.
It wasn't.
Like,
yeah.
Which I understand. I understand vetting to a point, but it shouldn't be because you have a stake in the game because your child isn't like you don't have a child playing. Like,
but it goes further. You see parents sitting on boards, being a board of director, and then once that child is done, then they're gone too. So they're always looking for new people on the board. They're always looking for new people to do this, and is that the right reason to do it? Is that it's a tough one.
Is that talking about like trying to get your kid on the team kind of thing?
Is it?
Well,
you know what I mean? Hey, I'll coach. It'll get my kid on the team.
Don't say there aren't instances of that happening because I know for
big.
sure.
I've been on teams like that.
Exactly. There's kids that are playing as the levels get higher.
Yeah.
There's kids that are playing.
Yep.
That are just there because
their dad's the coach, and that's it. And they're not just playing. They're on the first line.
I'm just going to say straight out to every parent, that is so not the thing to do.
Well,
I'm sorry. I just don't think it is.
It's not, but you see it in other aspects too. So it's coaching from the sidelines, coaching the coach in the dugout or on the ice.
Or yelling at other kids because maybe they missed a pass or something. And
I think there needs to be like some sort of before when the team starts kind of thing, like a message to parents, like in a sense of like, okay, look, if you're going to coach your kid, like the sideline stuff, yelling at the kids from the sidelines and stuff like that, like that
be instantly thrown out of the game.
Just let them know that, hey, that you look at, if this is going to happen and you're going to yell at my team or your kid from there, I don't accept that. And what's going to happen if that continues, then there will be repercussions, unfortunately, on your kid's playing time. If you want your kid to play more,
that might be the idea.
Then that's great. And I don't care if your kid's the best player on the team and it hurts us. He's going to sit if you're
what's the difference between coaching and cheering?
Well,
because this is what I see.
There is a difference.
There's a massive difference.
You can tell the harping on a kid.
Okay,
you can tell
so in a hockey arena, for instance, we'll just take hockey.
Oh gosh, I've been in some nasty ones.
I know, right? You hear there's always one dad in the corner by himself,
or mom.
Oh, 100%.
Right? And he's at the end of the
nobody
ring.
else
And
is
then
near
Hockey
them.
moms are terrifying.
Nobody,
Anyway,
lacrosse moms too.
Truth.
But,
they're usually the same person.
The mama bears.
but there's one dad in the corner, and
Yeah.
he's standing there, not a soul around him.
Yep.
Then there's one dad way up in the stands, and he's standing with his arms crossed like this, and he's by himself. And then you see whatever, it's just little tiny groups. And they're all cheering for different things. Shoot, pass, skate, back, up, move that. But what I find weird is this: is that when it's hang on. But what I find is when it's practice, and the kids are on the ice, they don't go out in the arena. They're in the waiting room, drinking coffee and Baileys and whatever, and
Carolyn's,
whatever. But they don't know what the coach is coaching.
Yeah.
So when they come and watch the game, like, I'd love one parent to go, "Come on, Billy," and they go, "No, Billy's actually doing what he's supposed to do, because if you were at the practice, I watched practice, and that's what he was taught to do. So he's doing exactly what the coach told him to do.
Hockey is interesting in that respect. I know we keep coming back to hockey because we're all hockey fans, but it's very relevant to us. Hockey's interesting because there are, especially in Canada, there are so many people that think they know hockey way better than they actually do.
Truth.
They think their hockey IQ is high when their hockey IQ is gravel. So they're the ones that are up in the stands, and you got one guy cheering to pass and one guy cheering to shoot and one guy cheering to dump and chase, and all three of them are wrong because they're meant to do.
Well, there's systems now, right?
So they don't know what they're talking about, and let's be honest, they don't.
But that's them cheering. So my point was, what's the difference between cheering?
Well, see, if you're just cheering to pass and you're actually getting mad at that kid because they're not doing what you say.
I don't care about that as much. What I do care about is when they get in the car at the end of the game, and that same stuff happens. Like, I told you to shoot.
Pass that.
On that play there, why didn't you shoot?
So here's what people don't realize who don't play the sport, and usually that's the case. Usually it's people who play the sport. When you're up in the stands watching any sport or any game, especially hockey, and you can see everything going on. It's like playing NHL video games, right? You can see the entire ice and every player.
Yeah.
So from a bird's eye view, you can see where to pass. You can see more things. When you're in the game and stuff's happening,
you don't
fast, and you're making a split decision on what you feel is best. It is so different than what you're doing up on the stands.
But it's also amazing how much you can hear the parents from the ice. People don't think you can. You can.
I will tell you, I know of this is a terrible story, but I know someone who played in the OHL who was very talented. And it was widely known his parent, the father, was
Patrick
always
O'Sullivan?
alone. No.
Oh, that was a sad one too, but okay, go.
His dad, if he didn't play well, was so brutal on him that he dislocated his arm once. And it was widely known. Like, everybody knew this parent always stood alone, like you said, because people just did not want to be around him.
Fortunately, that is rare.
It's rare,
You know,
but
it
shouldn't even happen.
Now,
But what about that? The parents that also are coach or so invested in the game that they're screaming at the coach or the ump or other parents.
I think they're distracting the coach from doing his job, which is not good.
Yeah, some people just can't handle the sport well.
I mean, if you're trying to find a solution to all this, unfortunately, there's not.
I have a solution.
There's an ego. Okay, well,
to let parents watch.
This is honestly my solution. I believe that there are kids that don't even want to fucking play anymore.
There's probably tons of kids.
But they can't tell their parents.
No,
Yep.
they're terrified.
Or they can't tell their coach. They don't want to let somebody down.
Yeah.
So my solution is this, quite simple. At a certain age, I don't know the ages. I'm, whatever.
You look very good today, by the way. Just saying.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, no worries.
Doesn't he always look good?
Settle down.
I know.
Continue, Scott. Don't get distracted.
I think there should be some form that is written that the kids have to fill out at the end of the season, at the start of the season. And all it is this. Do you want to play next year? Yes or no? And that form is filled out by the kid, handed by the coach or the manager, and then he collects the paper and says, all 25 said yes. No problem. Done.
But if they're fearful, would they actually?
Yeah, they would tell the coach other than because they're more likely to tell the coach that they don't want to play.
I would say that,
than the coach to go, okay, then, the coach has to say, Sally said she and then the conversation can start. Well, what would you rather do, Sally? Photography, or I'd rather play ringette. I really don't like this. Or my friend moved away, and I only joined because my friend's on the mainland now, and I'm not really into it anymore. But whatever. Yeah. Now, I know for a fact I hated hockey after Bantam. Hated it.
Really?
I fucking hated it.
Really?
Is that because like the whole Bantam draft thing so early for kids? Like that
it was a lot different back then. No, it was.
Why did you hate it?
Because watching friends get cut. The coaching was different. I'm not much of a. I'm not. Believe it or not, I don't like authority.
Wow!
Surprise!
Like shocking to me.
But it was just it wasn't fun anymore.
Okay, and I hear that. I hear that a lot.
Because I think at that age, that's where things start cracking down. Though that's where it's like, okay, either you're gonna go,
they're expecting
somewhere,
you to go,
or
and
this is
never like the thought of being billeted and stuff like
moving
that,
away from home
and whatever. It just
is it worth it?
No, to me it was. The sport became really complicated, and all I wanted to do was play.
Well,
but I didn't want to let the coach down, right? Because he was an intimidating figure for one, and it was back to it was one of my buddy's dads. So it was weird. But who am I going to tell? And I still had to go to school. So I know for a fact there's kids out there that don't want to play.
There are.
So
100%.
here's my perspective from someone who has two small kids. If as a parent, my oldest daughter is starting hockey for the first time this September. She's the only girl on the team.
I love that.
And she's super excited.
That's great.
But from my perspective, as much as I want her to play hockey, if she comes to me after 3 weeks and says, I hate it and I don't want to do it again, then that's it. It's over.
Oh, yeah.
And parents need to do that. They need to listen to their kids because there's so many asshole parents out there that don't care what their kids are saying. And then they're like, no, you're playing hockey.
I paid for this.
Let me paint you this picture before we move on. The time must be up on this one.
Yeah.
A kid, with ISN, I've gone through levels of different things, and I posted a story about an NHL guy coming out on his sexuality, and it was I didn't want to do it. I was like, are we not past this? And
it's funny. I almost brought that up as a topic.
I really fought and I went, I'm going to post this. But my gut after doing this for 13 years was, no, it's not news.
Why?
And
why does he have to?
But I posted it, and the response I got was, "Slow news day, ISN. Are we past?" And I'm like, "Fuck! I knew that was going to happen." But let me do this. What that made me think of is, say Billy comes home to his folks and his mom, dad. I got something to tell you. And Bill, you can tell us anything, Billy. We're here for you.
Oh, I've heard this. Yeah, I've heard this.
We could. What is it, Billy? I'm gay. Oh, well, we know. You can tell us anything. We're supporting. You can tell us anything. Yeah. It's okay. Same kid. Mom, Dad, I don't want to play hockey anymore.
What? And they freak out.
What? How? What? We just put you in.
We just paid
that
for
school for 40.
Yeah.
What?
Well, just go to it and try it. And just try and let us know. Just go. And then
how long have you been thinking this? So, who are we doing this for here? You know,
fair enough.
The money that the parents put into it.
Well, I think that sometimes is a factor as well. That's right.
They want the squeeze.
They want the ROI on their hockey investment.
That's exactly.
All right, let's kill this one. Let's kill this one here. Tanner, move on to you. What do you got for us?
Are kids playing too much hockey? Too much sports in general?
I'll answer that right away.
Are kids is it too much?
There is too much hockey on this island. I said it. There I did.
And as someone who works in hockey, I can tell you right now, there's too much hockey on this island.
I don't know who to cheer for. I don't even know who to report on.
Well, put it this way, like just for instance, like too many teams and stuff like that. Like
saturated.
You got Junior B, you got Junior A, and then we got a WHL team going on. And first off, I got to be honest, for paying to watch Junior B hockey, I'm thinking is a little outrageous that we have to pay to go watch. Just right, this kid's going up, but
sometimes that hockey's so exciting though.
Oh,
like,
yeah,
you know what I mean? Like, I actually don't mind paying for it.
Okay, but how many... There was a time in local hockey where there would be 3 400 people in the stands, and it would be girlfriends, grandmothers, grandfathers, family members, and buddies from school.
Well,
and now,
like our OHL team back home, like it's totally. I used to go to games here, and there'd be nobody. It was shocking to me. Like back home, that is like that arena's packed all the time. That's what the town does. Like,
but
it's like Powell River.
It's
it's packed.
Exactly.
My brother played in Powell River, and watching those games were great because the rink was packed.
If it's the only game in town, absolutely.
People want to see the best of the best.
But VIJHL, could they not somehow boil that down and make I don't.
They're adding new teams.
They just added 2 new teams.
Yeah, so that's the problem.
2 new teams,
hockey.
But I'm going to defend the VI here. Like obviously, I got some stake in that league, but so the way the VI is stretched around the island is most of the teams in that league are in towns that don't have anything else. The Campbell River Storm. One, they have a great program, and they've always had a competitive team, and it's literally the only thing in that town. They draw 900 fans to a game.
Those kind of teams make sense to me because you're in towns, and that's kind of their.
The 2 new teams they just added, Port Alberni. They've got one other team in town that's the Junior A team. So the Junior A now has a Junior B team in town. So there's obviously rules involved in what you can do to feed from a Junior B team. But now they've got something else for the people that live in town. And the other team was Lake Cowichan. There's nothing in Lake Cowichan.
I love that there's. I bet you that team ends up being very.
I don't mind that. That's not what I'm saying. So that's the only game in town. I don't mind that.
And there's probably going to be a Port Hardy team.
This isn't the only game in town on the South Island.
So I have a question.
No.
You just
so
said
that's my issue. If we're
the CRD is oversaturated.
The South Island is saturated with hockey.
So here's
right.
Too
Put
much.
more female teams.
Oh, that would
absolutely.
That's
that
a
I
good
get
idea,
for sure.
Yeah.
But
it's less saturated.
I do not get.
Okay, what
don't
about
understand.
you? Just said there's another WHL team coming in. Did you just say that?
No,
okay.
but there was.
There was talk about Nanaimo.
Nanaimo was
just because the last WHL team I went in there, it was so sad. There was nobody there, ever. Every time I went.
Where is that?
For the Royals.
Yeah, the Royals.
I've gone to a couple of Royals games. Like the first couple seasons when I went to Royals games, the building was packed.
Absolutely.
And the environment was great.
Okay, by the time I got here.
Pre-COVID, the last season was a little rough. The building was half full. But I think that's just because the Royals had a bit of a weaker team that season. Well, so that might have something to do with it.
Does the Royals play on the same night as the Grizzlies, or did they come together and be
those
friends?
teams try and schedule around each other.
Do they?
Oh, okay.
I'll tell you the best hockey in town. I'll just say it. UVic Vikes.
I love the Vikes. The Vikes hockey's great.
Best if you're going as a fan for hockey.
That's
100%. UVic Vikes. That is good.
Which
hockey.
is really good because
UVic. Well, I was going to say the reason why
university
and it's
teams are
$5.
usually mediocre. American university teams are hardcore.
When we had the juniors,
the UVic Vikes are great because a lot of the times these are Junior A hockey players that are too old to play Junior A anymore, and they're going to school. They're going to school to become to get a career outside of sports, but they still want to play.
A footnote with the Vikes is that they're the only team within the U Sports that isn't supported by the university.
They're not.
They're not.
They are not a varsity team.
Where does their funding come from?
From Harry Schumart, and who unfortunately stepped down after so many years. Reza. They have to go out and raise. I think it's like $200,000.
Then here we are. We should be telling everybody to support the team.
Yeah, 100%.
That's amazing.
So they go. Not only that, but in order for them to play for the Vikes, they have to go to school. So
I love it, getting an education.
Well, not just that. But it's not UVic that is going out and getting these people. It's actually Reza saying, come play on our team, and then they enroll at UVic, so UVic gets that tuition.
Which is
you think they would give it back to them a bit, but they don't. So
that's very
and it's the best hockey in town. So.
Well,
yeah, it's a bit interesting. Maybe Reza could work out some sort of U Sports deal.
And then what about now our major midget program? Because now kids are going, do I play major midget or go to junior B? Because now there's that.
How many major midget players are playing junior A right now?
Well, yeah.
There's that controversy, right? Where players are like, what do I do? Do I get more exposure in major? I would say, honestly, stay in major midget and go to junior B.
I think, absolutely.
100%. I think it's a way better. I think it's a way better program. I think junior B, unfortunately, if you're there for if you're there for any more than 2 years, like 3 years, that's it.
You're
like
done.
unfortunately,
beer league.
You're playing beer league at that point, right? You're at junior B. You're in there for a year, 2 years at most, and then you're out to get exposure.
Junior B should be a stepping stone.
It is not many.
All of these
not
things
many
should be
people
stepping
look at junior B. Major midget. There's so many high end tournaments, and scouts go to these young kids to watch
100%.
Play. I think 100% major midget is way.
Yeah. And don't forget, these scouts already know. They've been watching players well before they get to that level.
Oh yeah.
So do you think because the island is so saturated that it's
South Island,
or sorry, the South Island is more saturated that it's mediocre hockey? Because there's too many teams, so there's less talent.
Well, they're making more teams to try and disperse players more,
and they're getting players from other provinces. So that's why they might have an online something or hockey. Well, I don't even know what it's called. What you would know what it's called?
What's that?
What you guys stream hockey and what site?
Yeah, Hockey TV.
Yeah,
Hockey TV.
So they should be a sponsor of Raw, shouldn't they? Hockey TV.
Hey, well, I'll talk to him. I got a guy. Well, yeah, Hockey TV is a great platform.
But wasn't the local at that level? Wasn't the local specifically to get the local people from that, like, cheer on your town, cheer on your city, cheer on your...
Hockey TV does a really good job of promoting the local team that's on the platform. And Hockey TV does...
No, I mean the players itself, Jordan. So wasn't the whole idea that Peninsula players, they came out of Peninsula?
No, not at junior.
No?
As soon as you hit junior, there's no catchment anymore. As soon as you hit junior
Victoria Cougars take players from all over Canada.
No, I get that.
All over the world.
Originally, isn't that what it was supposed to be? Like, why so many teams then? So if
these teams are owned by individual people.
And I get that too, but like, what's the attract? Like, if I was to own a team back in that day, or however when it started, it would be I would want kids from Saanich, but my rival would obviously be Victoria.
Victoria,
right? Or anybody against Victoria.
Everybody hates the Cougars. It's fine.
Or that's the way. But that's
Or are they making more junior teams because maybe people are feeling like there's good talent out there that's not getting either shown exposure, or these teams aren't picking them up because of who knows politics issues, and they just don't want them, whatever. And there's maybe some good players out there that just haven't been.
Is Port Alberni not? Like Port Alberni,
they do okay.
It could be a money thing too. Like in a town like Campbell River or a town like Lake Cowichan or Port Alberni, where they don't really have any competition, there is the potential that the owner could pocket a few pennies.
Like, sure, and good on them.
The Victoria Cougars themselves are a non-profit, so any money they make goes immediately back into the organization. There's no profit. Nobody's getting paid. Everybody that works for that organization is a volunteer, except the coaches. There's no money being made for that team. Oceanside's the same thing. It's a nonprofit. The other teams, there's somebody trying to make money. So,
yeah.
So it's become less about the sport.
Well, that's the thing is you're looking at it from two different ways.
Corporation.
The Cougars are not trying to make money. They're looking to make money to keep the program going, make the program better.
Yeah.
So
back into itself.
New jerseys, everything back into itself.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So they are courting players from outside of town to make their organization better.
More competitive.
Right. The Cougars have been either first, second for the last 12 years.
But what is their attendance?
Actually, it's pretty good.
The Cougars. The Cougars average about 300, 350 people to a game.
Okay,
and it's more than the Grizzlies.
I played for Carey Park for a bit for their junior team, and I can tell you right now, our attendance might have been at most 15 people sometimes.
The Cougars brought more fans to Carey Park.
Yes, 100%. They would bring more.
What
fans.
do the Grizzlies get?
Bring more. That's the thing.
I called a few Grizzlies games a few years ago. I was asked to step in to fill in.
500?
Not even. I did so. This is funny. I called a Cougars game on a Thursday night.
That's sad.
I called a Cougars game on a Thursday night. Our attendance was about 300. I called a Grizzlies game the very next night on the Friday, and the attendance was maybe 100. Maybe.
Yeah,
I've
that's
been
because
to
there's
school games that have more attendance.
That's because there's so much hockey, and what would you want to watch, right? Like, you're like, do I spend money on that, or the best hockey that we have here in my hometown is a WHL, so I'd rather watch that, the best of these young kids play. Yeah. Honestly, I'm not saying it's not good hockey. I mean, like, new hooks come out of the Grizzlies and whatnot, and there's been some amazing players.
He was here for what, a year?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they did that right. He showed up. They knew he was going on. He's not staying in junior A. He showed up. He made an appearance. He moved on.
So what's the difference between development and putting on a winning product. Because to me, if you're developing, you're taking kids and pushing them on to the next level. Yeah. Like, see the Penticton V's, they'll put a news release out and say, and they have a great program.
Yeah, they always have.
Always have. But the guy that's there for 3 months, did you really develop him? He went 3 in their NHL ranking. No,
but they'll use that on brochures and stuff.
100%.
And you know what?
Newhook was going whether he's with the Grizzlies or not.
100%.
There are other teams in this town that are guilty of this, and I don't want to name names today, but there are 2 teams specifically.
I know one.
Name them? Okay.
About.
Name them. First and foremost, the Harbor Cats taking credit for Pavetta is bullshit. Yeah. The Harbor Cats do not get to take credit for Pavetta. He played for them for like 3 innings, and he never. So no. Harbor Cats, give it up.
They'll take that. That's marketing. That's marketing.
And the other one I'm going to call out is the Peninsula Panthers for taking credit for Jamie Benn. Eat me.
Yeah.
He played for the Peninsula Panthers for like 6 games. Okay? Then he played for the Salmon Kings. He played for the Grizzlies, and then he moved.
Well, Salmon Kings were the lockout in 2012.
So,
or something.
No, those yes, okay. Yeah. You had these awesome players that are phenomenal at the professional level. Wear your jersey. Cool.
But
put them on a poster. You did not develop them.
That's my point. There is a difference between developing and putting a winning team together.
1000%.
So if you want to
it's
go
like
out,
renting a player for.
If you want to go out and get this 6 players from Alberta who are going to get
breeze in, win you a championship,
100%,
and then breeze out,
and you're not worried about next year. And, or whatever, or you want to develop.
But you can't claim their development then.
Well, they might help another kid for the time that they're there, but...
It's a marketing tool.
It's a marketing tool.
I get it, but you really didn't have anything with him going to the NHL.
You tried to win a championship. So
I'm going to throw this out. We're probably over this now, too. Yeah. When's the last kid to come out of South Island or Vancouver Island that made it to the NHL? Who's that?
Wouldn't it have been
Newhook? But he's not from here.
He's not from.
No, I mean, we're talking grown here.
Are you talking homegrown?
Homegrown. Yeah, played his hockey right across the street.
Jordy Benn.
Barry.
Barry? Oh, yeah.
Barry.
Well, Barry and Ben, like Jordy Benn and Barry were
about this.
Well, I think Ben's older, but yeah, Tyson Barry.
Yeah.
Tyson Barry's the same age as my brother, so he put him around mid to late 20s.
So they went. So not a ton are coming out of here.
No, we put out a lot of athletes, but not in hockey.
We put out when's the last soccer player?
Coming back to his whole thing.
What's that?
So you're not his original statement on why we're speaking about this. Is there too much hockey? Maybe there is. If there's not, maybe we're losing the development because we don't have players. The last time Tyson Barry.
Yeah, exactly.
Did he go to an academy?
No.
That's the thing. Now you got Shawnigan Lake Academy. Now there's more hockey going on there. So
we could spend an hour arguing hockey
what is it to go to that school?
But
that's got to be
too much.
I think there is
tiring kids out at this point.
I guess we won't be getting them as a sponsor either.
All right.
just to end it. Just
killing me here, guys.
To end it quickly, just because before. Hockey used to be it was the fall and winter thing, and a bit of spring, and then it was okay, I'll see you next season, and you'd go out and do lacrosse or go and do something something out soccer, you know what I mean? But now 100%. It's just an all year round thing. So there's that issue too. So
well, and
there is too much, and I think maybe
so hockey's killing other sports.
I think it is, and I'm going to make one quick point here: is hockey in Canada is. It's both awesome and horrible at the same time because you get all these kids that think they're phenomenal or their parents think they're phenomenal, and they play the hockey season. They start in September. Training camp's usually in August, so now we're still in the middle of summer. Yeah. Season goes all the way until next March. Then they're going to spring camp, summer camp.
I think that was
entry camp, right onto the back season. So I think
not just that. If you notice too, you're getting 16, or you're getting 14, 12-year-olds with knee issues.
Yeah,
blown ACLs.
I think what makes better hockey players.
My knee's never been the same.
If you to go to the NHL, let's take the last couple of years of top draft picks, and you ask them growing up, what sports did you play? A vast majority of them are going to say hockey, obviously, but they're probably also going to say soccer, lacrosse, baseball.
They're going to all.
They're going to
play it all.
You need to be a multifaceted athlete to be successful in any one sport.
Whenever
some of the best hockey players, some of the best hockey players in the world are also really good figure skaters.
Oh my God, yeah.
So
they're also really good speed skaters.
My point on this is that so sending a kid to this camp or that camp, all of a sudden now, if you coach a team, that entitles you to have a hockey camp, right? And it's awesome, great, good on you. At what cost? If I was a hockey parent, which I was, I put my kid into figure skating. I did. All the edges.
Yeah, it's better.
It is power skating, figure skating.
Like for off season, maybe you'd put him into figure skating, or during.
Absolutely,
it's probably good.
Supplementary.
It was.
Yeah.
I'm telling
you.
When I was playing in my day, we had a figure skating coach come in from the local figure skating club, and
they used to do that a lot back then.
Yeah.
Though.
And she used to have us like untie our skates, so they were loose, and you had to go around doing figure eights on their.
Because it strengthens things.
Yeah, building your ankle strength as well, and work on your
and then
edges
she'd
and
jump
everything like
over
that,
sticks and stuff with an untied boot, and it's just like you had to just
And I remember a long
skate.
time ago that was a thing. They used to often bring in figure skaters.
So I don't know why parents don't send their kids to figure skating more if they want to have a future in their kid going further in hockey. Put them in figure skating.
All right.
I think to close it, the bottom line is there too much hockey?
Yes.
I think 100% there is way too much.
Saturated.
Is there a solution? No, because it's all marketing.
Yeah,
It's
and money.
It's money.
Right?
Chris,
Unfortunately.
Chris, what do you got for us?
Oh boy.
Okay, so mine's a little more deep, but mental health amongst athletes.
Oh, I got a good story.
I think that
That's a tough one. That's multifaceted.
well,
Who are you referring to?
Well, we just went through the Olympic thing with the Simone Biles. Is that?
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Oh,
So-
yeah.
so
She still competed, right?
She
Yeah,
did
yeah.
in one event, but she took herself out of some. We found out later that it was due to the death of an aunt, which can totally impact somebody, you know, and she just didn't feel like she had a competitive edge and she didn't feel like she could compete. Now, I know I'm guilty of this. Sometimes you're like, oh, you get paid millions of dollars, like the Drouin situation in Montreal is one for me. Oh, you get millions of dollars, suck it up. Like, who cares about the pressure? But really, 1 in 5 athletes suffer from addiction or eating disorders. Like, there's all kinds of mental illnesses, alcoholism, and I feel like we support them physically. We have, personal trainers. We have, physiotherapy. We have chiropractors.
So what
are they being supported mentally?
What we're kind of getting into now is now you're getting into like within sport, right? Because now we're talking about the stigma mainly around men. Okay, so we got these again. Let's go back to hockey real quick. We got these hockey players. You're big hockey players. You're supposed to be tough. You show no emotion. You go out there and do your thing. It doesn't matter. You're in your locker room and you could have a lot going on in your head. Mentally, right?
Could be about anything.
You're told as a man to not speak about it because you're a man, to hold your emotions in, and that's where unfortunately it kind of also stems from. And then you're also a hockey player to be.
Okay, if you want to talk about hockey players and suicide and mental illness, you go look at the guy that played with the Leafs. You go the guy that played with the Canucks.
Yep.
The Minnesota Boogar or whatever. What was that guy that played with the Canucks? What was his name?
Fleury's another great example.
Well, no, I mean that killed themselves.
Oh, that killed themselves.
These are people. These are athletes that Wade Belak. These are guys that committed suicide because of either prescribed drugs.
Prescribed drugs is a big one.
Mental, whatever. So you get. The thing with athletes that I find at these levels is they have agents while they're in the game. Mm-hmm. They have fucking nobody
after the game.
Zero so nobody is looking out for them after they hang them up.
Yeah.
So they're left alone. So if you see an athlete, if you ask any athlete at all, what do you miss about the game? Oh, I miss the guys. I miss the girls. I miss the dressing room. I miss hanging out with them.
Oh, that's what I miss.
Oh, that was 100%. One of the, that was one of the biggest, yeah.
So, but that's gone. So now when they walk into a bar, they're used to getting free drinks, free this, and now they're going, that'll be $7.95, please. And go, well, fuck, I'm Wade Belak. No, $8, please, and expect a tip because you're a hockey player. So it does play. What about the athletes that are playing actively that have
quite a few that are actively playing.
But is it stem back from what we talked about before? Is the pressure too much? Do they want to be there? Is it something that they want?
Look at
are they there for the wrong reasons?
Some of them are, some of them aren't. But mental health can stem. You could be totally happy playing
If you
hockey.
don't like a job,
yeah,
and you're stressed out, and it absolutely plays on your mind every day, you're going to quit that job.
That happens in hockey towns.
That happens
like Montreal would be very difficult to play. In Toronto would be. There's a lot of pressure in those towns.
Not in Toronto. You're used to fucking losing. There's no problem there at all.
That's true. I don't
right?
think people are
you just
happy about it.
One thing I think
summers off. Everything. It's a great job.
They're great golfers.
Golfers.
One thing that I know the biggest argument that I see online is when you're talking about a player that's having issues, like we were talking about the Olympics. Obviously, there's not as much money in her sport as there is in hockey.
Absolutely not.
But
she's
paycheck,
still the pride of America.
Yeah,
like, you know what I mean?
A paycheck doesn't change your mental health. A lot of people think.
No.
A lot of people think
it takes care of some things.
Yeah,
I think it almost makes it
they
worse.
They might not have the stress of, can I afford rent this month?
Exactly, but they got.
But all of the other crap that they're dealing with is so much worse. The pressure, the public eye, I have to win or I'm going to lose this paycheck. Because these players, they get hurt tomorrow, their career's done.
They have insurance and stuff. There's a lot of things that people.
It doesn't
really
help
know.
your mental health, though.
It doesn't help your mental. But if you don't forget, these athletes that are making just heaps and heaps of money, everybody's got their hand out.
Oh,
Family member,
everybody.
aunts,
You have to-
never seen,
yeah,
uncles,
absolutely.
Yeah.
this guy, that guy, people from the hood, whatever. They're all there.
Absolutely.
They're all there with their hand out, right? So
you have to learn how to navigate your way through that,
but-
which is tough too.
Exactly. So the agent just wants to make the most money, but do they have people looking at? Do they need to be babysat throughout their career and after?
They should be set up with.
They need someone to check in on them every so often. They need someone to.
Like,
there should be programs after, like the NHL should have an after hockey program.
I think every sport should.
NFL should have
like
an
that.
after.
Absolutely. Well, look at
NFL
all the problems in the NFL.
You can even look at other things outside of sports. Just look at how military veterans in the United States are treated. Their suicide rate is ridiculous.
Yeah.
There's so many homeless vets in Canada and the United States, and I'm sure other countries are similar. As soon as they're out, they're
forgotten.
An NHL player, their life is similar to somebody that's in the military. Their life is very structured. They have a very strict schedule. They know where they're going to be every minute of their life.
Yeah.
Everything's done for them. Clothing, everything.
Yeah, it's the same thing happens in the military. They're provided uniform. They're provided transportation, so they don't need to manage that.
When that's done,
they retire from the NHL.
And they don't know how to.
They got a buttload of money, but they don't know how to manage their life.
They
now
never
the veterans
really grew up.
The veterans are in the same thing without the money.
But it's also hard for the young guys coming in.
That's why you'll see a lot of time.
Money.
See, why is it left up to the player? You'll always see like a Marlowe taking a Marner and a Matthews in his home with 4 kids with his wife, and they're saying, "This is how you be a pro."
Yep.
Yeah.
Papa Marlowe.
I bet you fucking Marlowe doesn't get extra money.
Oh,
for
I'm
that,
sure he doesn't.
Right? So,
but he's been in the league for 70 years, so he knows how to deal with it.
But, no, I understand that, but the thing is that right.
What a great career.
But,
oh my God.
But my point is that the players take it on themselves because they're a union, they're a brotherhood.
And thank God they have each other. But at the end of the day, that's not the same as some kind of professional help. And also, like you were saying, the stigma of, okay, you've been in a dressing room. Do you think you know guys that were on your team or even yourself that were suffering in silence? Like sometimes
100%. That's why some of them turn into druggies, unfortunately, because they were going through things, right? But just not even that, like even with women too, like with men, it's the big strong thing, but with women too, what about the factor of the mental health of them being sexualized for their sport kind of thing?
Absolutely.
Right? No, that's a whole other talk we get into.
No.
I'm just saying, you know what I mean? For them, they're like, do people actually like me for my sport, or am I just being sexualized for?
Well, okay,
for
so
what
the
I'm
beach
doing?
volleyball.
Well, that can.
Let's take beach volleyball.
Yeah, the beach
Olympics.
volleyball, yeah.
And the short and the bikini
The shorts,
bottom.
But did they want to wear them?
No, a lot of them didn't. Actually, Pink offered to pay, the rock star Pink offered to pay to have them wear whatever damn shorts they wanted to.
Because
the
women...
No, I'm not asking if the no.
They were protesting those bottoms because the men can basically wear a uniform that's not sexualized.
Shorts and no top.
And I'm going to tell you, sexualization creates mental health as well.
Oh, for sure.
100%. That's what I'm saying.
No, that's what Tanner's saying.
So there's that. And then...
Did the Olympic Committee say, no, you are not...
Yes.
They were going to be fined.
Or, okay.
I thought it was it with the Russian team, wasn't it?
I don't know.
No,
there was a team.
There was two teams that went against. So the Olympic, and it wasn't even in the Olympics that it originally happened. It was in like an international
qualifier.
It was a qualifier. So they have strict uniform code for that sport, and I'm sure all sports have something similar. And the uniform code says they have to wear these tops and these bottoms. Well, the girl said, I want to play beach volleyball. I don't want all these people staring at my ass, so I'm going to put shorts on.
Think of the pressure to have to be in bikini
They wore the
bottoms.
same uniform as the men wear, and they got fined for it.
Oh, that's bullshit.
Well, that is
shorts be technically more in a sense restrict
it would affect
playing
your
beach volleyball. It's
I
hotter.
I would think so.
You know what I mean? I don't know.
And
I'm a
here's
woman.
the
I don't
thing,
know,
you
but I'm
have to
saying it
think
would.
about-
So if they want to wear them and it's to their so-called, let's say, disadvantage because they're going to get hotter or whatever, who cares? Let them wear. Like, who really cares?
But think about
You'd think
eating
a man would wanna be
disorders
restricted
having
more.
to be on national TV in bikini bottoms. So think about what they're thinking. I'm going to tell you right now, as a woman, they sit there and think before every match, I'm going to be on TV. I better make sure I play well and that I'm not overweight and I look good because the cameras are going to be on my bikini bottom.
So
and those camera guys are very accurate.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So that's how eating disorders happen.
So that's one important thing, and that's just, again, that comes all the way back to money. They're trying to sell this sport.
Absolutely, they're trying
And
to
See, I
centralize
didn't
it to
even
sell.
want to watch the Olympics. I got sucked in.
I never watched a single event.
I wanted to ask you about that actually
sucked
because
in.
we were all like, no, it's not. The
I
same.
wasn't going to.
But there was some
I got
the
sucked
soccer game.
That's where it started. From.
Soccer game was
my
good.
goodness.
Soccer game was good.
I
I did
the
watch a
gold
bit of
medal
that.
game.
That was good.
I watched. I got up at 5. I got sucked in. So
How could you not? That was such a brilliant
good.
moment.
It was
All right, let's bring it back. We're getting a little off
sorry.
topic here. With the mental health, we're talking about pressure, limelight, being sexualized. What about injury, concussions?
Oh, those all
100%.
play a huge factor in mental health.
You got football's having a huge. The NFL's completely gone sideways with their whole concussion thing.
Okay, so-
hockey's just as bad.
I know.
and that, and you know, again, how are we supporting people in sports?
So
and
what
their mental health?
So what? Just for reference, I have my own, just quickly, my own production company, right? And we made a video called Buddy Check for Jesse. Pretty much what it was you reference or a quote on body checking, like in hockey, right? Mm-hmm. To check in with your teammates. And we made a promotional video about it because we had a father who, you know, he has 2 kids who played hockey, right? His one kid was just like, you know, super smart. He wasn't really in sport, but he went to Google at the age of 17, worked for them. Dad didn't think anything was wrong. Unfortunately, he committed suicide, which is unfortunate.
Oh, I posted that on ISN.
And
Because there's
so what we did is we made a video for it called
that
Buddy
was
Check
you?
for Jesse. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
To check on.
I just did that like a month ago or something.
And I think that's
Buddy Check for Jesse was us. So just to check on your
Okay.
teammates. So we tried to really promote it, and the father spoke about it.
I think that's amazing.
About it, and
That's a great
everyone wore,
idea.
you know, I think it's in October, it's Mental Health Awareness Month, and they wear green tape on their sticks, and I
Right.
think it went out around to BC, but just to that, to
That's a
acknowledge.
really great
getting
idea.
back
We'll
to-
link that in the description down below.
Yeah, for sure. But that gets kind of back to what I've thought of handing out papers to kids. Like that is another way to
question.
check. Well, it could be if it's no, then it opens that avenue to okay, what's going on, Sally? What's going on, Billy?
Absolutely.
Right?
100%,
So
yeah.
I don't think we do enough to.
We check in
I
on
think
their
we
physical
push
being,
kids
but-
too much. So they're going to say, you're a bunch of snowflakes. I don't mean by not letting them hit in football or hit in hockey. I love the contact sport.
Yeah.
I think they should teach them younger how to hit. That's just so it's done properly.
I was just going to say there's proper
so
ways
it's
of
proper
hitting, and
way.
there's ways
But what I mean is,
not
I
to
think we push them too much to stay, or if it's. I don't think we ask enough if they want to play even anymore. That's what I don't think.
And I think that all
And if they
plays into the
do,
mental health.
then
and
you can
everything.
go. Absolutely, it does.
I think we check in on their physical being, but not their mental well-being.
Every year, do you still want to play?
100%. And it's tough though, because like you said, it's the same thing. Do you want to play, or you ask the kid like, "Hey, you doing good?" Or like, "You've been off lately at practice or games," and they can just say, "Yeah, I'm fine," and that's it. And that's unfortunate. That's the part where they're not.
Yeah, and then
actually
it's you
speaking
don't.
it. And there's nothing you can really do much on that point, right?
Well-
If they don't want to admit it or speak about it, how much can you really do for for them.
So I think you're on
Yeah,
I think you're on the right course, and maybe to wrap this up, I think everybody should maybe check out Body Check, because
Buddy check.
Sorry.
Check.
I'm thinking Body Check, but Buddy Check.
Same idea,
yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Because I think that more people should do something like that, because a teammate is more likely to speak to another teammate. So I think that's
100%.
really important.
Yeah.
So everyone should check
idea.
that out.
If you're a captain on
Buddy
any
check.
sports team, you're the captain of your team.
your
You are
obligation.
wearing a responsibility. You're not there to be like, hey, look, guys, I'm a captain, and have your ego go to that. You're there to check on your damn team.
Yeah, good idea.
You're there to
I
go
like
out.
that.
You're there to crowd, and same with the coaches, obviously. But the coaches don't know as much what's going on in the locker room
Absolutely not.
as those players do.
Yeah,
so if that captain's walking around and
Or you
hears
might not even
something,
like your coach.
or notices that a player in the corner is off, go
have a
check
chat
in on
with
them.
them.
Go chat with them. You know, if he's a new
Well,
player,
because
on the team, go.
here's the thing too, with
That's
with
your
that,
responsibility.
100%. You're going to hang out with your teammates after the sport. You're not going to hang out with the coach. If you're hanging out with the coach, something's wrong.
Truth.
Right? So
Yeah.
you got bigger problems there.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing. If you're gonna hang out with some kids, try and involve as many people as you can without segregating some kids here. Like, that's the thing.
I think that's a great idea. So, you know, I guess we should wrap this up here. We got
Buddy check,
Buddy
everyone.
check.
Yeah.
I love it. Buddy check.
All right. Thank you to Scott, Chris, and Tanner for joining us
Thanks,
on Roundtable Episode 2. We'll be back in a couple weeks with Episode 3. Be sure to head over and support our sponsors, ISN and Howie's Car Corral. Thanks so much to our sponsors. Thanks so much to my guests. And we'll see you next time here on Raw Sportscast.